Alright folks, we are back with more of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I'm going to move my microphone over here so that way I can look at the TV a little better. And we are headed off to Canalave City, the site of the 6th gym, which is a Steel-type gym. Apparently, we don't actually want to go yet, though. Thanks a lot, video game. I should have grabbed that that thing that I mentioned last time. I should see if I can basically just play this with a GameCube controller, because I'm pretty sure I should be able to. The like L2 and R2, which is not what they're called, they don't do much in this game, so I should actually be fine to just do that. Unfortunately, I forgot where I put it after finding it last time, which is real smart of me. I'm totally all there, folks. This person's just gonna turn us away because this is the wrong way, right? Yeah, this is... Oh yeah, the Global Wonder Station isn't ready yet because they shipped this game incomplete. Because that's just the video games industry nowadays. They just sell you games that aren't fucking finished yet. And we just buy them. So anyway, I have now beaten Shining Pearl. And it was really tough. The Elite Four is still a very difficult set of battles at the end of the game. Especially if you don't use Pokemon from the underground, which I did not. But of course, if you do, things become a lot easier for you. Because there's a much better variety of just everything you can get, and their levels are pretty high, so you can get a good amount of experience too. And of course, assuming that you can actually capture any of them, because there's that issue, which we've had that discussion earlier. We talked about that last time. So yes, if you just use the main Pokedex, your variety is quite poor, but there's some nice stuff in the underground. Unfortunately, not everything is available down there at all, even after you beat the game, which the availability does change after you beat the game. But for example, there's one Pokemon that it is available in these games, by the way. It's available in a different location, however, one that I haven't actually bothered to go to yet. And that would be Skarmory. Skarmory, our friendly neighborhood flying steel type. The original king tank of the Gold and Silver generation that has remained relevant ever since. And it's really good against the Elite Four and the champion in particular for one very specific reason. And that is because Cynthia's Garchomp uses a set that thing just laughs off. It has Dragon Claw, Earthquake, to which Skarmory is completely immune, Poison Jab, which once again, Skarmory doesn't care. Dragon Claw it already resists too, plus it has good defense. And Swords Dance. It basically can't hurt Skarmory whatsoever. Except for, oh, it has to sit around and do Swords Dance a couple of times in order to get decent damage. In which time you can just Iron Defense yourself back up to a place where it doesn't matter. Or possibly just tear it up before it manages to actually do any decent damage to you. Also, this guy has water flying types, huh? You jerk. I specifically brought Carnivine in for good damage. Then again, Mantike is probably not going to do too much to us. It's a baby form of Mantine. It's not going to have great offensive stats. Yeah, what do we take from that? 20 damage on a crit? Come on. Get out of here. Just absolutely leave right now. While I'm not completely mocking you, only a little bit. Unfortunately, that's a bit more of a problem. And unfortunately, it's also going to be one that we're going to want to sandbag for a second here to switch into Luxray, so that way we don't get debuffed from Intimidate. Plus, I mean, it'll waste a turn doing Ice Fang, and that's not going to be an amazing attack. It's coming off of -1 stage of attack. Oh no, it's doing Crunch instead. Wow, I'm actually surprised by that. I was fully expecting this thing to just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use the thing that is super effective against the Pokemon that you have out there. Oh, whoops, the AI doesn't predict switches that well. You know, not that perfectly. Let's learn the move Scary Face. I mean, I guess that would help Luxray actually be able to outspeed things, because Luxray has a speed stat that for an electric type is fucking pathetic, dude. But also, no, I'm not gonna spend time spamming Scary Face. Things that reduce enemies' stats are not quite as good as things that buff your own. Especially if you're like me and you don't switch a lot, because, well, I don't switch a lot. It's a waste of turns. Unless, of course, I'm using Volt Switch or moves of that nature. Alright, so I think Grass Knot probably actually does the better damage against this thing anyway. So that debuff is not too big of a deal, although that Roar is disappointing, because, hey, there's my EXP getting redistributed, although, then again, maybe this is okay. Alright, come on, Rhyhorn. Amazing, you remembered you can actually hit with Drill Run. Good freaking job. The only Switch is the one I'm playing on. That's right, at least for this game. We're not going to talk about any sort of personal things here, but... Grab a couple of berries here. These are just pretty much standard. I think this one's Figgy. There's Person Berries over there. And on the right side, that's... one that's just a Poffin ingredient, right? It's Pineapple. Thought it was corn for a second. It does kind of look like an ear of corn from a distance. But that's definitely Person Berries. I remember what those look like. Probably something I should put to better use. But, you know. If I was any good at remembering to use items in battle, well... It's this trainer. Is it this dude or the other one who starts with a Gyarados? I don't remember. Either way, 5 Pokemon. This dude probably has at least a couple of Magikarps, which are not worth much experience, but they're completely free for Carnivine, so why not? I guess we've already had the 6 Carps, so let's get something similar going, I guess. And Barboach would be better. They'd be worth more experience. Unfortunately, this guy knows what I'm thinking. Is this the dude? Taking a while to send and show up on my thing, and I wonder if there's like some sort of just stream delay. That's always a thing that could possibly happen, because Twitch is a well-designed platform. On the other hand, it might be an issue with the overall look of things on... Well, no, it's not like it's shifted downward or anything. Let me... Speaking of anything like that, I'm going to try hiding this real quick and see if that looks better. The answer is not really. But I need to, like, redo some layout things at some point anyway, because I still haven't... I keep forgetting to do anything with my Stream Elements stuff, although I did at least remember to resize it downward a little bit. So that way it's not going outside the black, or dark patch anyway. It's just a black square that's partially transparent, so... Yeah, I'll figure that out later, because... honestly, getting something that looks good with that might be a bit of a pain. Hopefully not that much, but on the other hand... yes, it's a nice 1 damage flare there. Flail Magikarp. Let's use Splash. It's funnier. Come on. That's better. Told ya. Well, neat. Glad to hear that's going pretty good. Yeah, there we go. 1 damage flail again. Again. Right. Give me that EXP. Oh, not quite enough for a level. I guess if this dude had 1 more Magikarp, that would have been free level 34 for us. Unfortunately, no such luck. Let's see what this fella has for us. Oh, look, it's another Gyarados. You know there's, like, other fish Pokemon in this game, right, developers? Then again, when I say developers, I'm referring to the dev team that was working at Game Freak back in, like, 2006 or so, when the original Diamond and Pearl came out, because this is just the same teams, but occasionally some different moves. In fact, I'm surprised these Chuckleheads aren't busting out more Ice Fangs, considering, because I know some of them have that. Or maybe some of the attack, you know, some of the moveset is partially randomized. Because by that level, if it's a natural caught Gyarados, which the general assumption for me is usually, okay, whatever the trainer has is basically just effectively natural caught, is gonna, basically by that point with the learned set, Gyarados would not have Ice Fang anymore if it was level 29. And yeah, there's not a lot of fire types in this region. There's also really not a lot of ice types either, which I noticed when I was doing some analytics for this because, again, as I said, you know, you can see what the stream title is. It says that the gym types really don't matter anymore, which is true. We're going to be going into a gym where practically every Pokemon is Onix. Not Steelix for being a Steel-type gym. Freaking Onix. The absolute scrubs they have working for Canalave Gym didn't evolve them. And I was like, what's up with this? And I started looking ahead at the teams in the other gyms, especially once I noticed, oh hey, Candace's gym is mostly bringing out Water-type Pokemon. Oh hey, Candace has a Medicham for some reason. Oh right, it's because there's only 2 Ice-type families in the original Sinnoh Dex. It's Sneasel and Abomasnow, and that's it. Oh yeah, this dude is gonna not do anything for us because, unfortunately, the upgrades we have apparently already are a thing we have. But he wants us to keep an eye on Team Galactic, and I guess, you know, if we run into them, sure, we'll beat them up. That's what we do. Unfortunately, that cop is thirsty, and I'm just gonna point and laugh at him, because that's how we do around here. Fuck the police. Although, also, it's a reference to Red and Blue, so. Absolutely. Gen 1 had a better distribution. Gen 1 also was in a far smaller region and game. So I just do not quite understand the logic behind restricting the Pokédex size to only 150 going back like 15, 20 years now. Although that said, Unova version 1 also had a fairly sizable region, at least, you know, even in the first part of the game, it was at least somewhat bigger, I would say, than Kanto, and it did very well with 155, and that 155 having a fair enough chunk of legendaries that... so basically, Kanto had... oh my god, how am I this stupid? Kanto had 4 legendaries, and Unova had more than 9. Or I suppose technically you could say Kanto had 5 legendaries, and Unova had more than 9. But however you want to slice it, it did pretty good with what it had. And it had a pretty decent set of Pokemon. I mean, some of them are just completely recycled, you know, sheet fillers. I mean, who really actually would remember Pidove if it weren't for the fact that it was shoved into Gen 8 as another random bird? Alright, so let's fight the scrub real quick. I probably should have switched Carnivine out of the front because he is pulling up to this fight with the Staravia up front, I believe. Yes. So with 5 Pokemon on board, Borans here is going to have Staravia to lead, Ponyta, because he hasn't hit level 40 yet. He's going to have Gyarados for a water type, presumably. He's going to have Grotle still, because I don't think it's hit a high enough level for all the starters to be evolved. And his last Pokemon is going to be Munchlax. So we should be able to deal with that. And his Quick Claw went off. It's not going to be a thing that we have to concern ourselves with. Oh, he's probably going to use, like, Brave Bird or something. Which is going to be coming off of nerfed attack and doing ineffective damage. Oh, it's Pluck. Okay, so that's even worse. I mean, I guess on the other hand, it didn't damage itself, but if we can't one-shot a Staravia from 8 levels below with Luxray without getting hit by Intimidate, we are fucked! Yeah, okay, fair enough. Oh, he has Heracross now, not Munchlax. I'm confused, I guess. I could have sworn that this dude got Munchlax now, but by the time that we fight alongside him, I'm pretty sure Barry is rocking a Munchlax. And by the time you fight him at the Elite Four, he does have a Snorlax proper. So that must have been what I was thinking of, because unsurprisingly, I was sat in front of the Elite Four for quite a bit when I played through this on Shining Pearl, because my team were all very high level, but my Pokemon choices were not necessarily super strong. I mean, I had Girafarig in my party as one of my 6. And I enjoy Girafarig. It's like one of my favorite designs. It's cute, it's funny, it is hilarious, but as far as being a good Pokemon, well, that's a bit of a stretch. Also, he doesn't have Gyarados, he has Buizel. So, you know what, that's fair enough. We get some free EXP off of that for Carnivine. At least it should be free. I mean, Buizel is, like, decent strength for being unevolved. And yeah, sure, it's fast, but it is basically made of chewing gum and toothpicks in terms of defense. We're going to shatter this thing like mother's nice china, right? One hit, gone. Get out of here. Don't even kid yourself. About to send in Ponyta. So, of course, Ponyta we can handle in a wide variety of ways because fire is a fairly fragile type. I'm going to send in Rhyhorn because, well, frankly, the odds of this thing having a grass-type move are pretty low. I don't even believe that Ponyta can learn Grass Knot, which, I mean, Grass Knot would fuck us up because Ponyta has respectable special attack. And Grass Knot does have a pretty wide distribution, and Rhyhorn is pretty hefty. But I don't think Ponyta can learn it. I don't think he can learn Energy Ball either. So, you know, what I'm saying is there's nothing to worry about going into this. So now he's going to bust out Grotle, which we can take care of in a couple of different ways. But I do want Houndoom to get a little bit on its feet. I mean, Houndoom is a very new addition to the team, and while she's got some decent levels to her, why not dial it up some more? Our team is capping out at 40 right now, and we should get a little bit closer to getting that for everybody. I mean, Carnivine clearly is going to take the longest, but it is what it is. And yeah, see, there's Houndoom doing what Houndoom does best. Just wrecking fools in a single hit. And hopefully not taking one in return. Get wrecked, Barry. I mean, you might be able to do that later, depending on if there's multiple champions, which is a thing that always seems a little bit dicey, or at least like a possible option in some cases. But otherwise, Barry, you're nothing. Get out of here. You can learn Solar Beam and Solar Blade via TMs. Nice. Oh, right, yeah, it's a fire type. Of course it can learn Solar Beam. Solar Blade would be the one to be more worried about, because Solar Blade is marginally stronger, and it's also a physically offensive Pokemon, so yeah. We're leading off with Carnivine for pretty much the entire gym here, up until the boss man himself, Byron. And we're going to take on this gym. We could go to Iron Island right now if we wanted to, but oh, look, something to prove me wrong as soon as I say anything. Whoops. That's okay. We are not equipped to deal with... Well, actually, it's neutral damage, but we might be able to cause some pretty serious hurt to Steelix with Grass Knot. I mean, our special attack is acceptable, and Steelix is heavy as shit, in case you didn't know. Like, we didn't quite proc Sturdy there, so it's not that level of insta-kill, but the damage multiplier, or the base power, rather, not damage multiplier, on... I guess, arguably, maybe it is a damage multiplier, on Grass Knot is through the roof against something like Steelix. Steelix is one of the heaviest Pokemon in the entire series. Like, it's got to be top 10, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, there's, like, Groudon, you know, Super Groudon, Snorlax. Snorlax might be edged out by now, but definitely Steelix is quite the chonker. Meanwhile, Onix is pretty hefty too, but we might be able to take this thing out with just a Vine Whip. Yikes! Yeah, Onix's speed is not to be trifled with. That thing can actually go at a reasonable rate. Onix is pretty playable in Little Cup, for example, for those of you who are anywhere remotely edging into competitive Pokemon stuff. If you want to start doing Little Cup, and you're like, I'm looking for something to help me do, you know, setting up entry hazards and stuff, Onix will, surprisingly enough, not steer you wrong. because it has a decent speed, which means that it can actually switch over to attacking once it sets up stealth rocks. And you give it sturdy and a berry juice, it'll soak hits pretty good. Meanwhile, Steelix, yeah, Steelix is just pure physical defense and, you know, modest attack and ability to sponge health-wise, but Steelix is just like, hey, we're going to look at Onix's big strength and we're going to amplify it even more. And that's what they did. Steelix had, for a while, one of the best defensive stats in terms of just physical defense in the entire game. If you ignore Shuckle, of course, because Shuckle is a blatant gimmick Pokemon. Shuckle literally only has its defensive stats. It doesn't even have HP. Although Shuckle does have the potential to do the most damage out of any Pokemon in the entire game, hilariously enough, if very, very specific sets of things line up. And it involves using Power Trick and a bunch of other goofy stuff. And basically hitting a Ladian, I think, as the target with turn 5 of Rollout. So good fucking luck doing that, but it's true. Shuckle can do some hilarious things, but Shuckle is a meme. You can also turn berries into berry juice. I don't know if that's still a thing, but, you know, if it is, cool. Plus, I mean, it's got a funny looking face. Snake Rattle and Roll. Oh, Snake Rattle and Roll. That's a game I've never played. Like quite a few NES games, actually. I fully admit that I missed out on a non-zero chunk of NES. Although, I mean, I have a budding collection. If I can find some stuff for reasonable prices, I assume Snake Rattle and Roll is not something that you can find for a reasonable price super easily anymore. Because, you know, retro game collection is really taking off over the last couple of years. And it's an old Rareware title. So people would be like, oh yeah, I gotta have that. In fact, you know what, though? eBay to the rescue. Snake Rattle and Roll. Show me some buy now prices. $15 is the first result that I see on buy now. $15, free shipping, free returns, and it says it's cleaned and tested and authentic. That's actually not bad then. I'm kind of surprised. I was fully expecting to go look at it and be like $135 or something. But no, that's like a reasonable price. Also, Byron's Gym is a freaking maze. We can skip that panel because we just saw that goes absolutely nowhere. This one I think is just another... Or is this an extended go nowhere? Yeah, this is an extended go nowhere. So, thanks a lot, buddy. Yes, I remember the Crash Bandicoot level, Road to Nowhere. This dude. I remember this dude because I saw what Pokemon this Chucklehead had, and I was vaguely irritated about it. So we're going to switch Houndoom up to the front, because you're going to see this Pokemon, and you're going to be like, why is this here of all places? It's a Skorupi. What does this have to do with Steel-type? You know, I can excuse-ish the Onixes, because, I mean, Onix evolves into a Steel-type, but Skorupi is just a bug poison that evolves into a Poison Dark. The only thing I can think of that it has is that it can use Iron Tail. And if you let that one try, it'll just use Iron Tail on you. And now, Cesar here is about to send in a Steelix. So, we are going to... we're going to use Empoleon to deal with this. I thought about using Rhyhorn for a second, but then I remembered, oh right, Steelix has a defense stat of like 200 or something. So, Drill Run will probably hit. Although there is that 5% chance, which is more like 50% when it's the player. But would it actually get a kill? Rhyhorn has some real attack power behind it, but of course, well, A, you never really see that too much when other people are using them because, as I've said before, King Jobber. And B, that's not, like, grossly powerful. So, it's only okay. So yeah, Snake Rattle and Roll, get that out of here. I need to not look at eBay while I'm doing this, otherwise I'll be like, can't wait for that, sweet Twitch payout to come in probably like 3 years after my 2 subs managed to build me up enough money for that. I do have a slowly budding NES collection. I got a couple of games in here that, while they're not super stupidly rare, I am still very happy to have. For example, Mega Man 3. I have Kickle Cubicle, which is one that I think is probably a little bit on the obscure side for a lot of people, but it wasn't horribly expensive. There's some other stuff I need to remember to pick up at some point. Snake Rattle and Roll is definitely going to go on that list. I've got both Star Tropics games already, so we're squared on that. I have Final Fantasy. I forgot to put Carnivine back in the front of the party because I'm real smart. Oh boy, I forgot what I was thinking about NES stuff. Oh yeah, I have Shadowgate. I'd like a different copy of Shadowgate though because the label on mine is absolutely wrecked. I have Deja Vu. I would love to get, if only it weren't so expensive, I would love to get a copy of Uninvited, which rounds out the trilogy of those adventure games, the Mac Venture ports. I do love me a good adventure game, and all of those are pretty solid, so there's a couple others that I wouldn't mind picking up copies of if I could find them at decent prices at some point. I guess maybe getting SMB2 to round out that trilogy, because I have, of course, a Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt combo cartridge, which I'm pretty sure I was literally given by a guy at a game store one time. So back in the time, well, back in the time before Trump, we'll put it that way, because I can't pin down an exact year off the top of my head. I used to play Magic at this place that was kind of local called Underground Games, and it was a very tiny store. It was like the size of a closet, really. So, this guy sold video games and he sold card game stuff. Well, by card game stuff, I mean he sold Magic stuff, and he had a couple of Pokemon cards sitting around in a box, and, you know, he let me take a bunch of those. And, you know, we shot the shit relatively regularly because I was there like every week for, you know, Commander events for the like 2 or 3 people who were there. So, you know, I came in with some money one day and I picked up a couple of games from him. I know that I bought Quest 64 used from him. I bought my Game Boy player off of him for what I think was also a decent deal. I mentioned to him that I had picked up an NES, and he's like, "Well, you gotta have, you know, you gotta have the Duck Hunt SMB1 combo cartridge." And I said, "I didn't get it with that," and he just gave me one, which was really cool of him. If I didn't mention it already, I bought Quest 64 from that guy. I bought an original Xbox from him. He had a copy of Superman 64, and this sounds really silly, but I 100% regret not buying Superman 64 from that guy, because I would love to have that in my collection. Not because I'm some sort of like secret mega fan or anything of Superman 64, but I am fascinated by garbage, which, you know, I hope that at some point I've managed to project that to at least some portion of my audience that I am fascinated by garbage. And I would have loved to have just been like, hey, yeah, I got a copy of Superman 64. You know, I'd say it would make a great conversation starter, but I don't really talk to a lot of people in the real world. You know, but still, it would be a thing. So, yeah, that would have been a great thing for me to pick up if I could have. But unfortunately, I bought something that was actually good at the time. And, oh, I forgot this trainer has an Azumarill. But on the other hand, we do have Carnivine at the front now, so we should be able to deal with this fairly easily. I mean, we might take some damage. In fact, we might take a lot of damage. Azumarill does pretty good damage per hit. But, you know, 2 hits to this thing should be enough. We're rodent fascinated by garbage. Well, I mean, I guess that's one way to think of it. Having this moment of realization that the best person that I knew who played Magic in college, at least for the first couple of years, was a guy who was a furry who had a rat persona. So it's funny. It just makes me laugh a little bit. Oh well. Yeah. So that's my main story about, oh, I could have owned this really crappy video game, but unfortunately I didn't think through the idea of actually picking it up. Well, one day my garbage collection will grow. Let's go fight the shoveler from Mystery Men here. And yet, there he is. Byron is Rourke's father, so that's an interesting thing. There aren't really a ton of, like, familial relationships between gym leaders. Also, I like his cape. I mean, you gotta give it up for the guy for having a cape. Like, the only other one that I can think of off the top of my head in terms of, like, family members between the gym leaders, Tate and Liza, they were twin siblings, right? And that's all I can think of off the top of my head. So let's see if we can do some good damage with Beat Up. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be so much the ideal choice here, because this Bronzor is pretty tough, physically speaking, and not all of our Pokemon are necessarily the world's greatest physical fighters. Trick Room. That sucks. I should have taunted. If I had just thought this through. Let's see how you like Fire Fang. That's only about half damage. And it's using Sandstorm, which, that's not great, but I mean, it's small damage per turn as opposed to here's some sort of big outburst. On the other hand, come to think of it, about to use Steelix. Oh boy. I was going to say, Byron has just done the perfect setup for us to bring out Rhydon and Sweep. And by Rhydon, I mean Rhyhorn. But that may not quite pan out in the long run here because, of course, Steelix has a defensive stat of holy shit, are you kidding me? It's also still slower than us? Wow! That's incredible. Huh. I was not expecting that. Oh, right, yeah. Norman is related to the player character, but neither May nor Brendan are ever gym leaders. Meanwhile, I guess Yeah, so obviously Giovanni and Blue, you've got... Oh boy, switching Empoleon in here is not the safest thing in the world. We're gonna try it. So yeah. I think this is the only case that I know of offhand where they're actually siblings, although yeah, Blue, of course, is the son of Professor Oak, and Giovanni is the father of Silver, and Norman is your character's father. And or the other, or the... But of course, which character, the player character, oh ye gods, I am trapped in terms of how to use my words here, and Byron is going to send in Bastodon. Bastodon is best dealt with ground or fighting type moves. Thankfully, Bastodon is decently more vulnerable on the special side. Oh, right, yeah. Koga and his daughter Janine. Which is a slightly different, but still an answer that I will accept, of course. But a slightly unusual case because by the time Janine becomes a gym leader, Koga has advanced to the Elite Four. Where he has one of the most disappointing teams out of any Elite Four trainer in the entire series, as far as I know, and not for lack of trying in terms of type. So, yeah. Well, Bastardon turned out to be pretty easy, but yeah, I mean, it is pretty much Bastardon if your only thing that you have is physical attacks. Which you often will if you're in those types. Although, I mean, I guess in theory, if I'd gone to Iron Island and I had spent the time hatching Riley's egg, I could have access to Lucario right about now and be able to Aura Sphere that thing pretty heavily and just be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to entirely bypass everything that makes you tough. On the other hand, Empoleon just hits like a truck. Again? Oh, of course. Yeah, I see it's going. Well, I guess the only thing I can say to that is, if you're concerned about how much you miss, watch the VODs later. That's not useful advice, I know, but unfortunately, you can only do so much when your ISP is like, oh, by the way, we don't feel like being great today. It's a Sunday, isn't it? This always happens on Sundays, so it'd probably be a good idea for me to... Well, I did say before that I was going to take a brief break at the beginning of the new year and work out a new schedule and some other stuff. So Sunday nights generally seem like they'd be a bad idea, I guess. Yeah, see, Barry, we can get an easy gym badge too. Oh, you're tougher? Remember how I slapped you around like a... You know, like one of those inflatable clowns with the sand in the bottom, Barry? Shut the fuck up, you're tougher. Also, nice night transition. Just... instantaneous. And it took a second for the gym sign to light up. Although, of course, it's extra funny having nighttime start at 8 o'clock local time, because around here, this time of year, it's dark by 4:30! So from here, they're gonna want us to go to the Canalave Library, I think, and just go talk to Professor Rowan on the top floor. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I can only do so much, but I mean, I guess I can comment on it, right? Kick his ass, Seabass, as it were, right? As Rowan just gives him a death stare. And Barry's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you study the evolution of Pokemon. Oh, it's capital E evolution, which makes me think that it's more like a Darwinian type of thing. Well, that's just how game design works, sir. I wonder if he can see the code, too. The legendary Pokemon that evolve. Oh, yes, I remember Manaphy. Oh, wait, no, Manaphy works the opposite direction. Said to be a mysterious Pokemon in each of the 3 lakes of Sinnoh. Yeah? Alright. Gone. Well, yeah, Barry, that's because you ran away, you goober. Also, I like that Rowan is just like, oh, it's water under the bridge. Doesn't give him a Pokedex, which is kind of hilarious. He's just like, yeah, nah. You're up Shit Creek without a paddle. Sending Lucas to Lake Verity. That's near our home, so... Meanwhile, Barry is being sent to Siberia, so he's going all the way north to Lake Acuity. At least, I kind of read it a little bit like that Rowan is just like, oh, by the way, Barry, you are way too smug for your own good. You need your spirit broken. Go to the far north. And we are assigned to Lake Valor. Right over by that place they were going to bomb. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, you have a good reason to be. If we felt it all the way over here... I mean... Let's pull up that world map for a second. And here's where we are. And here is where the Valor Lakefront is. I'd say that's about 3/4 of the map, give or take. Quick Google of how large is Hokkaido is telling me square footage, which is kind of useful, I guess. You know what? We'll take that and we'll pretend that it's a... Oops. We'll pretend that Hokkaido is a perfect square, which it absolutely is not, but we're doing the jankiest calculations possible here right now. And that's 32,222 square miles. The power of 1/2, because I could have done this through the square root function, but I didn't see it before. So let's just say that it's 180 miles in either direction. So 180 times 0.75. So about 135 miles away is where we felt the effects of that, need I remind you, explosion. I'm pointing this out all to say that this area should be a lot more fucked from that explosion than it usually is, than it actually is, rather. And I don't like to do, CinemaSin style dings or anything like that. I think that is the lowest form of content and the lowest form of analysis. But also, whoa, that is a very strange bomb. Yeah, I can tell that they must have packed a lot of Voltorbs into that cardboard box that he was carrying around. So now I guess it's time for us to change how our investigation is going, and we're going to go find out about what's going on at Lake Valor with Rowan and Lucas, who are apparently the two least trainers among us, which, considering how good Barry was, that really makes me wonder if Rowan even knows how to operate a Pokeball. They're going to go continue to explore Lake Verity. However, we are stuck with Barry going to Lake Valor. That's alright, though. We can make this work. At least we can when Joy-Con Drift permits. I still need to dig out another thing, which I said earlier, but it happens. I don't know which route is shorter, but we're going to pretend that it's going to Veilstone for a couple of minutes here. And away we fly. Whee! Sir, would you like to move? Let's get crashed into by Carnivine. At which point it disappears. Oh, bit of lag there from our first wild battle of the day. Just a small amount, though. Nothing that would make me yank the game out of the system and throw it out. I mean, the removed Galaxy Quest reference almost made me do that, but... okay, not really. It's Geodude, that's for sure. Our friend Rock with Arms. Everybody's favorite, question mark, Pokemon. And a little Fire Fang should show this bug what's what. Yep. I mean, I don't think the Deedly Whoop is going to be worth a ton of experience. Yeah. Especially at level 21 only. That's a little under, you know, a little mediocre. So, in we go. To Lake Valor. Oh boy, that's quite the blast that happened here. I see it left smoking craters and Magikarp just flopping around. Wow. Wait, if Twin Leaf is the only... which direction are you coming from to get to Lake Verity, then? Because you'd have to be coming from south, then. And if you can just magically route from wherever the hell you feel like, instead of having to go through at least Sandgem and Jubilife or anything like that... I'm assuming that these guys don't know how to use Fly and are just unloaded wherever the boss feels like putting them. If you can just route from wherever, go from the west! There's literally nothing there except for a tree line. And surely, if you guys have a bomb this big that can cause no collateral damage except for messing with the lake, you can invent a freaking flamethrower, can't you? Also, yeah, there's no hidden items here, really. As far as I know, there's no items here. Because then they don't make things missable. Which I guess that's nice of them, but... You're glad that you're a Team Galactic member saying that, because otherwise that sounds a little bit weird. Magikarp War Zone, yeah, pretty much. Oh look, a dog and a goofy cat. How's the team look? Well, we'll have a quick peek at it in a second once I am done roasting this fool. Is Twitch already That's probably more my internet connection, because my ISP apparently doesn't like to work very well on Sunday nights. But yeah, we're rocking Houndoom as our current leader. Our whole party, we've got Houndoom up at the front, level 39. has Flamethrower, Taunt, Beat Up, and Fire Fang, because I haven't been able to give it better moves yet. We have Rhyhorn in slot 2. Rhyhorn's got Thunderfang, Drill Run, something else. I think it's Stomp, but it's not a super important move, and Rock Blast. We've got Crobat in slot 3. Crobat is always kind of a champ. Crobat's got Cross Poison, Pluck, Supersonic, and Bite right now at level 40. Rhyhorn's at level 38. Rhyhorn just learns Drill Run now, dude. Thankfully. So, I just leveled it to 35. Nothing special. We've got Carnivine in slot 4. Carnivine is our lowest level at 36. But, its move pool is kind of underwhelming, actually. It's got Vine Whip, Bite, Sweet Scent, and Grass Knot right now. Its attack stats are pretty mixed. Why Supersonic? Because I haven't been able to get much of anything better at this point. I probably could have kept Absorb, but, like, Absorb is borderline useless. There are good TMs available in the Veilstone City department store, but their learn sets are a little choked. Carnivine will probably improve eventually. Empoleon, which, of course, evolved from our starter, it's got Metal Claw, Peck, Surf, and Ice Beam. I could probably give it Flash Cannon right now, because I just got that TM. I mean, it's a move that it can always use. It might be something that it can learn naturally, but I don't know. And Luxray is sitting at the bottom. I don't remember what all its moves are, but I know it has Bite, Spark, and Volt Switch. Volt Switch is in there, not because it's necessarily a good choice, but for the utility of being able to switch out for less expensive. Carnivine's okay. Carnivine is, fun, I guess. I'm trying to use a couple of more unusual options, like Rhyhorn. Most of the time, I would not use Rhydon. Or, well, Rhyhorn. I mean, technically I could use Rhyperior if I found the item and if I did trades, but also, for my playthrough on stream, I'm trying to avoid using trades. Otherwise, I would just be like, hey, can somebody give me Skarmory and all these other Pokemon that are, like, really super good? I gotta have Gengar by now if I wanted to as well. But here's our, so Croagunk, unfortunately we don't have a Psychic move on our team right now, but Croagunk is not exactly a defensive powerhouse, so we can eliminate that thing with Pluck. Just get out of here. Get that bullshit out of here. Crobat wants to learn the move Haze. I'm probably not going to use it very much, but I will get rid of Supersonic for it. Because Haze could be interesting if I run into something that buffs itself a lot. Okay, Empoleon doesn't get Flash Cannon naturally, so I'll feed it that right now then. That would be a very good idea, to say the least. That'll be all the way at the bottom of the list, yeah? Yeah. Alright, so I guess we can double check our TMs in a second here. Yeah, so we definitely don't need Metal Claw at this point anymore. I mean, that's coming off of our worst attack stat. Peck is going to be tolerable because, I mean, we get Drill Peck eventually. Why do I not have Air Cutter? Because Air Cutter is shit on Crobat, that's why! I mean, it's coverage, but it's worse than... It is not better than Pluck. Crobat is a physical attacker, man. And Air Cutter has less base damage. You're thinking of Air Slash, which might be, like, on par, but Air Cutter is not better than Pluck at all. I mean, advise if you wish, but... Air Cutter is 55. Advise if you wish, but be right if you do! I'm trying not to be too angry, but I just hit upon this point of like, okay, what tone am I sticking with? I'm sticking with the angry tone, because apparently that's how it came out. It's just like, fuck off. Air Cutter, okay, Air Cutter was boosted to 60 power. It's still not perfect accuracy. It has increased crit ratio. Air Slash is still like 70 and can cause flinching. High crit ratio is a meme. High crit ratio is not a thing that, you know, don't assume that's going to... Why not use all three? Well, because actually I don't think Crobat learns Air Slash. Okay, Air Slash is 75 power. That's actually usable. 95% accuracy, so not perfect. Although 30% chance to flinch. Air Slash would be the one to choose if I was going to use that or Air Cutter. Air Cutter is not reliable enough for me to choose it over Pluck, and it is not a physical move. It is a special move. So, for now, Pluck is remaining our best choice because we don't have Wing Attack. And hey, Pluck's secondary effect came in clutch when I was playing Shining Pearl, because my team, although they were all pretty strong, were... Oh, it does learn Air Slash at 62? Well, okay, then never mind what I said, I forgot. Mostly I just remembered that it learns Leech Life at 69, nice. Where Leech Life is now up to like 80 power or something, because, you know, why not, right? That was a big troll move on the part of the devs. So that'd be a good one to have. I'm taking a look through the rest of my stuff to see if there's any good moves I can throw on anybody real quick, because a couple of people have very choked movesets, as you can tell. Yeah. So, Leech Life is, like, back up to being one of the best Life Drain moves, away from being formerly a joke. Which is funny, because it's been 15 PP the entire series. I love that they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna boost it to 80 power, we're not gonna do anything else to it. Oh boy, I can teach Flash to Carnivine. Yeah, plus, Bug-type moves are low-key super good. Like, Bug-type Pokemon don't have a whole lot of All-Stars to a lot of people. Although that's kind of changing since Gen 5. I guess this gen also introduced Vespiquen, which is playable. So, you know, this was sort of where it was starting to turn around, but they started giving Bug good moves. They started giving it good Pokemon in Gen 5. And it's always been a useful attacking type because it handles dark types. Excuse me, and it handles psychic types. And grass types, but most things can deal with grass types, man. Yeah, I don't think the Underground has a ton of Pokemon from 5th gen forward, which is kind of sad, to be fair. Shadow Claw. I could give Shadow Claw to Empoleon. That could be pretty cute, but I'm not gonna make that a thing for the moment. Nothing can learn Drain Punch. Damn! Maybe Rhydon can learn Drain Punch. I don't know. That'd be cool. That'd be strong. Brine. Brine, I don't really need that too much. Steel Wing. Steel Wing has that not perfect accuracy, but it could be handy for Crobat. Thief? No, we already have a dark move. Ever since they invented Berserker, no other Pokemon has any use. I mean, to be fair, Berserker is pretty legit. Electivire can't learn. Oh, that's some bullshit, man. Come on, game developers. Berserker weakness because Berserker is unstoppable. Yeah, good old Steel type. Aerial Ace is an option over Peck, Aerial Ace is an option over Pluck. but I don't think it's that relevant. Oh boy, I can teach Rhyhorn Rock Tomb. 60 power? I feel like I should trust in that a lot more than I should Rock Blast, but I'm not going to do it. Sandstorm, Shockwave. Rhyhorn can learn Shockwave and not be able to put it to any good use whatsoever. Shadow Ball is a thing I can teach Houndoom. I'd rather have Dark Pulse, but I don't know where the Dark Pulse TM is offhand. Yeah, Rock Blast won't necessarily average higher power because when it lands, there's only a 3/8 chance of a 2 hits, which is a 50 base power. And 3 hits is already 75, so most of the time it's going to do way more. Thunderbolt is not actually useful right now, believe it or not, because Luxray is a physical attacker and Rhyhorn. Why would I want to teach Rhyhorn Thunderbolt? What is this, Gen 1? Even then, you don't really teach special stuff to the Rhydon family in Gen 1. If you're going to teach anything that has no right to be a mixed sweeper to work on both sides, it's Tauros. Unfortunately, in Gen 2, they fucked up how they statted Tauros, and they gave its stat to special defense instead of special attack. So Tauros has been rip in the water forever since. And yeah, I guess this is probably our best move sets for the moment. I guess I'm hoping that Carnivine has better things that it can learn. Otherwise, I may bench it. Roserade is pretty okay, but I suppose that if I'm just going to, bench a Pokemon that I'm already using and something that I'd be spending an Evolution Stone on, then I would rather just pick up something that's in a better typing than Grass Poison. Surely I can get something a little better than that. Well, Roserade does have that 125 special attack, which is decent. Unfortunately, the rest of its stats is like... yeah. I mean, yes, Roserade absolutely is a pretty wild thing to have thrust into your face as the ace of the 12th gym. Or 12th gym. 12th gym? What the fuck? Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to do a future project that's 16 gyms instead of 8. I wonder how difficult that would be to scale out. Dumb jokes aside, Roserade is pretty big for being an ace in the second gym. But that's not that weird, I don't think. Because I feel like second gym aces have pretty much always been allowed to be kind of really sick. Like, what was it in Gen 1? It was Starmie, right? Starmie is fucking disgusting. What was it in Gen 2? It was Scyther. Scyther is kind of a nasty boy. I don't remember what it was in Gen 3 because I have forgotten that Brawly exists. Because his name is Brawly, which is absolutely silly. Oh, he's got a little more character in his Omega Ruby design. So, Gen 3, Brawly's ace was Makuhita in Ruby and Sapphire. So, hey, it's back to being a garbage Pokemon. And Makuhita in Emerald. So, straight trash. Total dog shit. Most people kind of remember Lenora's Watchog from that one generation, from Black and White. Roxy had a Whirlipede for an ace, which is not fully evolved, but I mean, okay, that's a little mediocre. So, I suppose that Roserade does edge kind of on the other side of the average in a way. I don't even remember 6, 7, 8 what the gym leaders were named. Well, 7 didn't have proper gyms, so that's its own beast. And talking about balance for Gen 7 in light of the others is a little bit silly. Well, now you've got me looking this whole thing up, because... Yeah. Alright, so Grant was our gym leader in X and Y, and his Pokemon were basically just on par with each other. Weirdly enough, he had an Amora and a Tyrant, which were both level 25. And the second gym leader was Nessa, right? And did she have... Okay, she just Dynamaxed her Dreadnought, not Gigantamaxed it, which means that, well, even then, it doesn't have a Rock-type move, so it can't do it can't do the Sandstorm max move, but... I mean... Dreadnought is weirdly more powerful than its stats would ever suggest. I remember back before the DLC for Sword and Shield, there were a lot of Dreadnought raids, a lot of Gigantamax Dreadnought raids especially, and those things just beat me like a drum. I don't know why it was as strong as it was, because Dreadnought is not that good. We're swapping in Crobat to deal with this Krogunk again. But Dreadnought is something that if you have a good grass type, you should be able to break that in one hit. Dreadnought is pretty mediocre. So I would say that Roserade is certainly in the upper half in terms of power level for second gym aces. But, I mean, compared to the competition, it is certainly no Starmie. That's the take-home message here. Is one that's not very helpful, I guess. So... a Beautifly. That thing probably can't do too much of note to Rhyhorn. I don't think it even learns, like, Absorb or anything. Well, to be honest with you, I feel like Sword and Shield... Oh, we missed. I feel like Sword and Shield were very easy, at least up to... Oh, okay, never mind. I was wrong. And I got crit for my troubles, too. Sheesh. That was surprising. Although I guess, you know, as I said before, Rhyhorn, the king of all Pokemon jobbers. Sword and Shield were the easier, probably some of the easiest Pokemon games up until the end of the game. And I mean, saying that, Pokemon games are not necessarily super hard most of the time. I mean, certainly they've gotten a lot easier as time has gone on and, you know, started out at least modestly challenging. Although, pretty much everything has always been surmountable, just through doing some weird, you know, finding the right relatively obscure thing. Starmie could just be a pain in the ass, but with a reasonably durable Pokemon, I guess that would probably be the best way to do it. Or, I guess if you get Pikachu by that point, maybe it can do some damage. I'm going to go back and heal. I don't think I'm going to need Rhyhorn for whatever upcoming fights, but I do want it to gain experience, because as you can see, Rhyhorn is not doing the best of work here. So yeah, this game is a comparative outlier, because there's a lot of parts of this game that are really insanely hard compared to a lot of the rest of the game. I had a bad time against Volkner, but that's fairly minor. I also, I mean, of course, Cynthia was very hard, and the Elite Four could often be a little bit disgusting. I had a couple of instances in particular against the Elite Four of seeing them have absolutely ludicrously tweaked out stats, especially for speed. So a couple of times against Aaron, against Aaron, who is the first Elite Four, the bug-type guy, I was sending in Floatzel against it, because that was my fastest Pokemon in Shining Pearl, and against his Drapion. And I had, like, 10 levels on this thing by the end, maybe. I can just use it from the map. Oh. Didn't even think to do that. So, I had, like, 10 levels on this thing by the end, and without a speed-nerfing nature on Floatzel, this thing was still outspeeding me! By the time I got to the very end of, yeah, the overworld walking Pokemon have some very goofy pathfinding, and they do the pick-up return thing, catch-up return, or rather, I guess. It's kind of on a similar level to what was going on with the following Pokemon in Sword and Shield, but dialed up even further, and of course, on the top-down view overworld. This dude doesn't like Magikarp for some reason. I can't imagine having so little taste, but you do you, apparently, Team Galactic. I mean, have you seen the uniforms y'all wear? You guys are silly. And yeah, no items. Nothing to worry about. But get into a fight with this nerd real quick. I can't do that. I don't have any kicking moves. Do I look like I can use... Do I look like I have Hitmonlee in my party? I mean, that'd probably be an alright Pokemon to have. Alright, so now we're up against Commander Saturn, right? I don't remember what Pokemon this goofball has. I can't. I didn't bring a net. And they don't let me go back for one. Can't rescue all the Magikarp. Although, I mean, you do that, they let you get saved by them at the end of the game, right? That joke would have gone over a little better if I had remembered exactly what I was trying to say. I mean, that's a lot of Hyper Beam, right? Or honestly, you just start chucking them at people. They won't know what to do. Wants to learn the move Stockpile. Oh, you're one of these Pokemon. So, Carnivine is going to try to learn 3 moves now, and 2 of them rely on Stockpile, so forget about them. It'd be more galactic than the power of all those Magikarp. These villains suck. Yeah, exactly, right? Welcome to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. The main villain is just Ansem, again. Except this time he's really pale because he hasn't seen the sun in a million years. So I think since Toxicroak didn't Shudder there have Dry Skin as its ability, so it's a good thing we didn't try to bust out Empoleon or anything. I don't like it here. Well, I warned you, I think. Isn't this the one with the Time Worm? I mean, yeah, kinda. About to use Bronzor. At this point, Buster, you should probably have Bronzong, but you know what? We're gonna cut you a little bit of slack. Because, unfortunately, you decided to join Team Galactic, so a couple of strategic things have to go out of the head. You know, go out of, some things just have to be thrown out. But yes, this is the... We're in the game with the Time God Pokemon. Bronzong, yeah, good old Bronzong. Lethal in here to mock me for being lazy. Oh boy, Confuse Ray. Oh, my favorite. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, it was about the phrase Time Worm. So, we're not going to fight the worm, but we are going to fight a time travel dragon. So, that's pretty close. This is so hot. Hey, Bronze Dong is pretty strong as far as steel types go, and excuse the bonk noise. Whoops. I just knocked my elbow against my desk. Bronze Dong is not to be trifled with. That thing is pretty powerful. And you set up Trick Room, you give it gyro balls. It's pretty good. Joy-Con drift, please. Please. Top tier steel type is Berserker. Oh, Berserker. A good Pokemon. Oh, it's gross, alright. Actually, saying that, I don't think Metagross is really even, like, the king of the metagame anymore, so... At least not in terms of steel types. I guess I don't really know what's, like, good anymore, because, well... Welcome to Pokemon. I don't pay that much attention to the metagame anymore, because I don't know how fun it is. Oh, hey, it's the old man. Oh, yeah? They're after some legendary Pokemans? And Lucas is, being a thing? So I like how he beat this dude. As we were saying before, Rowan and Lucas came out over here, and they were... I was mocking them for being the least competent trainers out of the four of us who were assigned to various places to deal with the lakefront stuff. So I kind of like to imagine that Rowan just slammed that dude in the nuts with his suitcase. And was just like, yeah. As far as using a Pro Controller, I do not own a Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, although there was some discussion of... in the last stream of, hey, look for a third-party controller, which I probably will do that, you know. Suddenly Mad Cat's coming back in the clutch, right? Etc., etc. I do have a GameCube adapter. I just have to actually figure out where I left it, because I found it yesterday and then I set it down somewhere, and apparently I have no sense of object permanence. So that happened. Oh, that's great. You know what that... So that makes me think of, like, anytime you get into a glitch Pokemon fight in yellow and it just starts raining reds down the screen for some reason. Gonna be honest, I have no idea what the hell, you know, causes that. These games are incredibly glitchy, but as I've said before, they don't, like... affect the fact that this game is still playable and I still enjoy a good Pokemon game, or even a bad Pokemon game I'll sit through and not hate too much. Oh, that's a pretty great visual. This looks like something that is just meme material waiting to happen, so... Of course, to a lot of people, the meme is the fact that these games are this buggy, which... yeah, it's a little bit silly. People have been busting on this game for being really glitchy, and I mean, I do understand and appreciate. Wow, okay. Oh yes, that's one way for a cat to beat a dog, right? Is just to pull out some samurai movie shit. There you go, that'll do it. Couldn't think of what kind of phrase I was looking for like 10 minutes there. Let's blowtorch this thing into oblivion, and Stunky should be able to get Drill Rand. Yes, I just said Rand, you are correct. I don't know why that came out like that either, but I think it's just gonna have to be a thing, like every time I say sword from now on. Or every other horrible mispronunciation of a word that I just start doing because of everybody I know being a filthy memer, and it just starts to stick. Unfortunately, that skunk just blew up on us. doing a chunk of damage to Rhyhorn as it went out. Which is kind of messed up if you think about it. Or, even if you don't, really. We're going to assign Houndoom to beat up that Glameow. Everybody's going to get some. And Rhyhorn is going to throw some rocks at Golbat. As Houndoom calls for the Yakuza to beat up this Glameow. It's had enough of these cats' shit. And he's just going to absolutely annihilate it. What a champion. Yikes! I'm so glad the poison didn't trigger. Also, I like how Rhydon just, like, turned back to stare at these two trainers after shooting rocks at each Golbat. It's like, you're next, fuckers. Rip the goofball-looking cats. Womp womp. Alright, so... these guys have a lot of poison types, so I actually don't think putting Carnivine at the front is ideal. Instead, we're going to put Rhyhorn up front to try and get it to gain some more experience. And we're going to try to avoid double battles. For now, just because, I mean... they can really let some of our Pokemon get bagged on pretty badly. Alright. Blizno Mega Drain. Oh, it's using Leech Life. That's... it's still neutral damage, which is surprising. But I kind of imagined that physical attack is not Beautifly's specialty. That said, wrecked. About to use Glameow. Yep. Oh, what? You're gonna just try to lower my attack? No IA Jutsu for you? Unlike your compadre back there from the previous fight. Hit rate like that rocks. But let's finish things off with a Stomp. Or I guess not finish things off, because our attack is absolutely in the crapper right now. Or we can actually get a kill. I'm cool with that too. But I was picking Stomp because it had perfect accuracy. Because goodness knows that if I give anything in this game a chance, it'll just be like, nah. It'll just be like, nah. Alright, what are you gonna bring me to have to deal with here, friendo? A Stunky. Alright, well, I don't want to deal with the exploding skunk guts, so I'm gonna just use Rock Blast, which is a ranged attack. Venoshock, that cannot poison us, so that's a good move for it to be throwing at us, because it can't do anything of real value to us. Venoshock, for those of you who don't remember, it does double damage to a target that's actually poisoned, so it'd be silly if it could poison things. Wants to learn the move Takedown? You should take that down out of your learn set, you goofus. Place that with Head Smash, and now we're talking. I don't think this thing has Rock Head, though, so that might not be a super choice. Oh, here we go. There it is, ending the Dragoon combo. Sam Main's everywhere, angry about this stupid cat stealing its flower petals. Normally that attack should make you crap your pants because, like, the only other time in the entire series you see it is against Lenora, who just gets a free kill with it. Yes, hello, Starly. You exist for some reason. I'm just gonna squish it real quick because I feel like being rude. But we're going back to fill up before we get into any more fights. Look at that 3 experience for Rhyhorn. And 2 for everybody else. I didn't check if Carnivine got 3. If so, I bet you're feeling real good about yourself right now, Carnivine. 3 whole experience from this stupid bird. Time to grind to 100 on him. I'm not doing that. I'm not that much of an anus, just mostly. Hey guys. Alright, let's fight a nerd. Alright, this will be Jupiter, right? Despite the massive ring skirt, this should be Saturn. Wait, is this actually Mars? Because of the red... I don't remember. Which is funny because the name has been dropped to all question marks. And, like, it's... Okay, yeah, it is Mars. That makes sense because of the red hair. But because, like, it's just sort of implied that our character just forgot who this person was because they were so useless. Although that Perugly at the level that you face it at is pretty beefy. It's quite the chonker. Well, I mean, it's Perugly, so by default, it's kind of got that build anyway. Alright, Rhyhorn, chuck some rocks. Unfortunately, that's not going to be super effective, but hey, we're going to put a nice dent in, probably even in this Bronzor. It's probably not going to be super happy about these rocks. Never mind, it doesn't care. I am not going to try Drill Run because I'm going to assume that this thing levitates. Thunderfang, however, if we land a Paralyze, would be pretty good. On the other hand, the Confuse, I'm not such a fan of that. So we'll swap in Empoleon, who is just kind of our big destroyer here for anything that really wants special attacks, which I think Bronzor's defenses are even, but this is still a decent choice. And, oh, wow, that's... Oh, it's a crit. I was going to say, I'm kind of impressed that Bronzor managed to land any damage above 1 on a Pokemon that double resists Gyro Ball. And coming off of Bronzor's, frankly, garbage physical attack. I mean, usually I fight through Confusion too, but that fight is not really one that I'm gonna get much work done on anyway, so the switch is still okay. Meanwhile, we'll switch back into the Golbat because even against... Even against Mars's last Pokemon, like, I was about to forget her name as a joke there, and then I legitimately forgot her name for a second. Even against this Perugly, we should be able to do some decent damage with these rocks. Or we can land only 2 hits and we can have that issue happen. So I guess we're going to go in for Drill Run because that should average out to most likely to do the most damage here. It's like 90, 95 power. So that's as much as somewhere between 3 and 4 hits of Rock Blast. And it's popping a Citrus Berry very early. Let me double check. Is that... Oh, it's only 80 power? Wow, never mind. I thought Drill Run had like 90 power or something. It's less impressive than I thought. And that blows. It just did U-turn. I didn't know that... I did not know that Perugly had U-turn. I'm not gonna lie. So, we're gonna be stuck here dealing with U-turn stuff for a couple of turns. Yeah, it's very possible that Drill Run got nerfed or something and I didn't notice. Or I just was forgetting that its power was not that high to begin with. Ouch, these crits are happening pretty often. Hey, Rhyhorn, do you just have like reverse super luck or something where you take take crits more often? Or battle armor, that's the other ability that's increased crit rate. Oh, that Golbat is almost dead. Unfortunately, almost doesn't count very often, so... Yeah, we're cutting it close. Another crit! And unfortunately, no big money there. So we're going to switch in Houndoom here to help clean up. Houndoom needs experience the most. And can resist U-turn decent. Well, I mean, it's neutral damage, but it shouldn't be doing a ton. Yeah, plus Cranidos is really high in terms of its physical attack power, so getting hit by a crit from Cranidos cannot be a good time. I think we had it pretty easy against Rourke when we started up this playthrough. But I know for a fact that when I was in Shining Pearl, I pretty much just steamrolled him because I chose Chimchar, and Chimchar gets Power-Up Punch. And so it's like, oh hey, you're coming in with a Pokemon that's weak, but actually, for real, it's not anything to worry about. And wow, okay, that crit, I couldn't count out how much damage that was. So, Chimchar is the worst Pokemon. Now that's just mean. I mean, listen, honestly, in terms of design, Chimchar is a little bit incredibly goofy, being, you know, just a monkey with its ass on fire. And I don't like the fact that there's now those 2 generations of firefighting Pokemon in a row, soon to be 3 when Gen 5 happened. And they were really trying to bait us with the Furry from Gen 7. But Chimchar is a perfectly usable Pokemon in terms of like the in-game stuff. But on the other hand, it is a monkey with its ass on fire. So you gotta decide how you feel about that if you're the person who's paying attention to the numbers versus the person who's paying attention to the designs. And I mean, this is definitely a game that is pretty rough, but you can probably get away with some of the other choices. You know, just choosing whatever. It's not like Uranium. They're plot dumping and I'm ignoring it. So, As far as Turtwig goes, Turtwig is not terrible in-game. Turtwig has some pretty alright stats, and like I think its speed level is actually usable when it fully evolves to Torterra. I don't think it's like... I don't think it's faster than a Luxray for a start, we'll put it that way, but it hits pretty hard, too. So, Torterra does some good work. Check up on how things are going at Lake Acuity. Yeah, so we have to go all the way up there. So to get to the part of Mount Coronet that we have to go to, we have to drop in at Hearthome City, I believe. Yeah, that is the other problem, is that Torterra is weak to just about everything. Torterra is grass ground, which is a very fragile typing. So definitely don't put it in front of an ice type because it'll just get vaporized. I don't know why they didn't give grass more resistances. I mean, surely there has to be like something that it can shake off a little better. But I don't know. It's one of the big things that made Exeggutor like unusable after the first generation. Exeggutor has just... its star has fallen so badly from the first gen. Like, that and Tauros are the ones that probably have had, like, some of the worst go from first gen compared to now. Which is kind of sad. I like Exeggutor. It's silly. Can we get in that water at all right now? Yeah, there we go. We can go fight a trainer. We can get a little bit of EXP. Yeah, and I'd like to get Carnivine a little higher level, so that way I can get some nicer moves. It may not be able to get much in terms of typing, but what it can use, at least it should be able to use some damaging moves if it's getting stuff like Crunch, Seed Bomb. Probably no Power Whip for you, but, well. Wild Golduck, huh? I'm thinking Vine Whip is going to be our better bet for which offensive side to target here. And Golduck is not that heavy, so Grass Knot will probably have about the same stat. Oh, it does get Power Whip. Well, that's alright then. I mean, Power Whip is, again, kind of a risky move to use because accuracy, but I mean, that's still a lot of power coming out of that thing, and with how slow it is and the fact that it's kind of a glass cannon, if I recall correctly. Let's take a look at these defensive stats. Yeah, 72 on both sides and 74 HP. It's not exactly the fastest thing alive. So you'll probably want at least a little bit of, you know, having that kind of meat would be not a bad thing to have once in a while. I can teach it Sludge Bomb via TM, though, so that's good. I guess at least there's that for a little bit more coverage, although, I mean, things that can use Sludge Bomb are kind of a dime a dozen. I'm pretty sure that Houndoom can use Sludge Bomb, too. It might even be able to use it better than that thing. As I say, if there's better choices, we'll take a look at them. We will have a look at the underground when we get to the ice area, because we haven't done a lot of underground, and it is so much of a big deal that trying to ignore it throughout the entire playthrough is not necessarily a super wise decision. Oh, this guy has another Gyarados. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Can't even get out of fucking Whiscash to go with the Barboach. Instead, we've got Gyarados everywhere. The Lucky Egg is in a cavern in the ice area? Okay. I I didn't know that. That would be very helpful for a lot of, you know, raising up a lot of my Pokemon. But that kind of blows the lid off of a big thing that I don't think I got to explain about the Underground, is that in this game, which I do not believe was true in the original, the Underground is split into separate areas depending on where you go digging. So if you tunnel down into, you know, if you dig down around Snowpoint, or if you dig down around Orbora, you're not going to go into the same place. You're going to go into different maps with different caves with different Pokemon available, which I like. Oh, Wild Chanseys no longer have Lucky Eggs on them. That's disappointing. So that hidden item there, that requires us oh no, that's free. I'm just getting a bit of a feel for what this particular area of Mount Coronet is like, because I don't remember too well. Not to be confused with Mount Jim Cornette. That's something different entirely. Yeah, you mentioned that, and for some reason, I feel like I remember that they were switched over to have Lucky Punch, maybe. And I don't know if Pokemon can have multiple different potential held items anymore. So, if that's the case, that's big time disappointing. Well, I think right now we're just going to have to leave it at we don't exactly know yet. You know, we're getting conflicting information on things. Because not everything from this game, you know, even though there was that big data mine, not everything has been posted everywhere just yet. You know, some sites are trying to give the impression that they did not indulge in that whatsoever, and you know, I am pressing X to doubt so hard that my PS3 controller has just exploded. I'm gonna have to... Well, you know, I mean, maybe that's just me, that I think that that's highly unlikely. As far as, like, personal people, I didn't look at any of it. I got exposed to a little bit of it through Twitter, because when you're on certain levels of social media, some things are kind of unavoidable, no matter how hard you try. Like, you can have the strongest filtration system in the world for any of that stuff, and you can soft block people for a month ahead of a release if you think that they might be spreading any kind of leaks. So I don't do that stuff. I just, you know, whatever I might end up with is what I end up with. Also, I was incorrect about needing to come to Heart Home City. That's later. I'm thinking too far ahead. Everything there is Rock Climb Central. Population, we ain't got the 7th badge yet, so we're going to Eterna City instead, because that's how we get in, actually. If only I had remembered. I don't need to refill. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that the game doesn't want to let me keep going, apparently. Keep pushing upward a little bit. I don't know. I think opening the map in the first place is about the same level of... But it can just be me. Okay, go there. Ah, right. We didn't go this way at all earlier, because there wasn't really any need to. Like, we caught Ponyta, and we got very disappointed in it.
You ever met the kind of people that come to these stations? These dudes have got energy to
Everybody's doing all right. I don't know if we're getting multiple notification things going in the thing or not, but I've heard some mention that the chat messages are taking a bit to show up on stream. There's been some growing pains related to switching Streamlabs, basically. But yeah, hope you're doing all right. We are an amount into this game. I don't really want to make estimates because I have no idea. And because we finished the 6th gym and we just dealt with the 2 lakes so far, and we're off to the one that's at the far north of the map. So I guess we're a little bit of the way over half done with the game, maybe like almost 2/3. Taking the 2nd week off of December to do all that. That's probably a good idea. I jumped on it like immediately, but admittedly I am sort of in a position where the end results have been very rough and I have not been the best at making sure that it's working. Someone likes hearing you speak Spanish. Entirely understandable. What do we got from this one bird keeper? Probably just a like level 19 Hoot Hoot or something. Is that what we're like just short of evolving to Noctowl? Level 19, I actually called it perfectly. I swear I didn't remember. But easy enough to clean up with Rock Blast. In fact, we're able to outspeed it, which is kind of surprising, but Hoot Hoot's stats are not super impressive. So I guess fair enough. Anyway, we haven't been over here before, so we're going to pick up this TM12 taunt. Carnivine appears to not know what collision is properly, and it's just absolutely freaking out up there. I wish it could just, like, float down from the bridge to you. That'd be really cool looking. Alright, so here we are back in Mount Coronet, Eterna City side. There might be an item in here that we can get, but this is an area that is not passable to us until we got Strength. So that's a big part of why I didn't come over here. And it's a cave. We see basically just cave-type Pokemon. This is just like many things in this game, another place where Pokemon variety on the main world is not super good. But this time we got a Bibarel helping us out with Strength. Found TM69. Nice. Rock Polish. Not so nice. Although, I mean, there... Listen, I don't want to be the one to say it, but apparently I'm getting there already about the fact that it's called Rock Polish. I'm like 12 on the inside. So let's skip past that and just keep pushing these rocks around. Another Metatite. These things aren't really worth much experience. I don't know that there's any real reason to fight these. Yep. Get out of there. Save up our increasingly not so many power points to deal with any higher level Pokemon we might get. Oh good, an escape rope. Now I can get out of this bad joke. Maybe. Probably not. So where does that part of Eterna City, or where does that part of Mount Coronet drop us off? Celestic Town. Gotcha. So there's nothing else for us to do at Celestic Town for the time being. Later on, we can go there and we can pick up Palkia's Pokedex entry. but that's not a major concern for us for the moment. For now, we just want to get down to the basement of Mount Coronet, because that will start taking us further north. And that's where the layout starts to get a little more confusing. At least I think we're going downwards, so we're going into the basement, such that you can say that a mountain has a basement, I guess. Oh, we got a defog here, huh? Well. Again, bless that PokeWatch app so much. I am so glad that I don't have to be carrying around all these different HMs, because... I mean... Listen, you can get away with carrying very little in a lot of earlier gens. But here, like, just to navigate this cave, we already need 2 Pokemon to mule for us and carry our HM moves. It's a little OTT. Let's try and capture this Clefairy. Because while Clefable is probably not going to come in too handy for us for the gameplay, let's get a Clefairy anyway. Why not? Let's have it in our boxes, so that way we can have some more potential backup depending on what we decide to do with our final team. Clefairy was almost the major mascot of the Pokemon franchise, and then Pikachu just absolutely blew up because of the anime. Although I'm sure you all knew that already. Chingling. I think we have one of these already. And if not, I mean, I don't know that I want it, but I'll catch it anyway. Chingling evolves into Chimecho, which is a very middle-of-the-road Pokemon. I actually remember asking a couple of people a while ago when I was doing more work on a Pokemon-related project that, again, I don't want to put forward anything about whether or not I'm continuing that at the moment, because I am not always good at remembering to actually finish up any projects in any way whatsoever. I remember asking some people if Chimecho was, like, appropriate for a thing that you could find around the second gym, because it's really that not good for an isolated Pokemon, and I feel like the general consensus was, yeah, you could probably get it around second, third gym, and that'd be fine. This Golbat is probably about to have a really bad day from these rocks, assuming that we hit. Meanwhile, Mean Look is just a waste of a turn for this Golbat entirely. It could at least try to do damage to us. But hey, I'm not complaining in that sense. I'm just commenting that wild Pokemon don't really have much of an AI, do they? It's just whatever random things they feel like doing. So, I probably should not bother too much with, like, smashing random rocks, because, unlike in a lot of other games, I feel like I've noticed that in this one, you don't get any encounters or potential items by using Rock Smash. Which is sad, because a couple of games had some decent Pokemon from Rock Smash. Like, I think Gen 5 let you encounter Dwebble that way, and Dwebble's alright. And yeah, Lears, this is Zubat Cave. Any cave is Zubat Cave, really, but this one in particular is the basement of Zubat Cave number 2, basically. This location is Mount Coronet. This is... I don't know how much you know about Diamond and Pearl, or Platinum for that matter. So if I'm explaining to you stuff that you already know, I'm terribly sorry, but this is sort of the area that you go through a bunch of times throughout the playthrough, because most of the region is connected to it. And so you have this is basically, yeah, it's Zubat Cave for a lot of the game, because it kind of has to be, because it gets to be a recycled location. We might do some of that funny stuff after the game, once we beat Cynthia, depending on how difficult it is to do, I guess. Although, who knows, we might try it. As long as it's not likely to cause any long-term damage to either our machine or our game, then I will give it a look in the post-game, and we can have some funny stuff. We can try replicating the moveset that you get when you evolve an M into Kangaskhan. Just for the true throwback, because you said, teach Kangaskhan to fly. Well, I have physical copies, because I am very silly, but, you know, I just prefer to own hard copies of my stuff. If they patch, I can unpatch it. Fair enough, fair enough. Although, I'm suspecting that patching will take until, like, late December, early January, because I'm expecting the next patch is going to be anything else that's included will also be tied to the fact that they are finishing off the GWS, which some people are suggesting is probably the inclusion of Wonder Trading, which, again, why don't you just finish this before the game comes out? But yeah. Yeah, these games have a lot of very, very silly glitches that you can do with them. I've seen some incredible stuff on the internet in terms of just completely goofy goofball things, but when I was playing through this on my regular playthrough of Shining Pearl that I did off stream, I didn't really go looking for any of it, and I did not cause any of it to happen just by accident. However, if you're doing things in certain ways, it's definitely there's definitely ways that you can run into it. There's me forgetting my words, but what I'm thinking right now is oh god. So, in terms of things that are, like, really easy to get into, in terms of things that are really easy to do, one is that if you're playing the game in dock mode, if you turn the music off, it will actually bump the frame rate up a little bit. Like, I've heard it saves a couple of minutes overall on the speed run from the early one. Yeah, it's moves that it shouldn't have, which, I mean, maybe that's what Retro is thinking that he doesn't want, but, you know, either way. Yeah, the amount of things that you can do, apparently, is pretty wild. Well, what happens is you don't take it out for official events, and you likely don't trade it. Also, I need to put forward, once again, Nintendo didn't do work on this game. And nor did Game Freak. This is all a separate outside company, so you're relying on multiple layers of you don't know if anything's going to happen to patching it. But, yeah, the odds of them banning your Switch over foul play from, like, all online is very low, unless you are a repeat offender across multiple games, which I suppose is, you know, the thing. Yeah, people would be pretty mad about it. And, I mean, sure, the story would be a little bit, you know, told in a specific way, but that's That's the way it goes. It would not go very well for Nintendo. At very, very worst, and it is extremely unlikely to happen, you might get, you know, some minor punishment regarding this game. And that is extremely not likely to happen if you don't take it out somewhere where you're not under a reasonable amount of scrutiny, i.e. a tournament. Like, yeah, don't put it on your Pokemon Home. That would be very silly. And as regards the idea of if they have moves you don't want them to have, that can be solved through the normal methods of, hey, just take it to the move deleter, who is still a thing in this game, despite the fact that HM moves are now all TMs. Or you just feed it the TMs that you buy at Veilstone, or that you happen to pick up in the Underground, or feed it heart scales from the move relearner. That's also an option, because, yeah. Speaking of heart scales and the move relearner, one other thing that I heard that is a pretty nice quality of life issue that was updated, and I don't know if this is a thing from the original Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, but they made it so that way, once you give the move relearner 10 heart scales, which heart scales are not that hard to farm in the Underground if you just hang out in there for a while. Also, ouchies, that hurt quite a bit. Rhyhorn, can you toast this fool already, please? There we go. Unfortunately, that's worth, like, no experience. What I was saying is, heart scales in the move relearner, if you give the move relearner 10 heart scales worth of trades from move relearning, you can then use the move relearner for free after that point. And farming heart scales in the Underground is not too hard to do, because you can just go digging and they're, like, slightly rare. But yeah, if you, yeah. Yeah, good old Brian the Machokes. At least this one looks, like, not horribly disproportionate. Gen 1 Machoke did have a giant head, though. Among other things. Gen 1 Machamp always looked like oiled up, which was really weird. They made that one a little bit too shiny looking in its texturing. Hey, we got a Max Elixir. Something I'm probably not going to use, but which does enable me to spam big moves at the Elite Four later on. And I guess if we ever end up in a case where I get that lost in Mount Coronet. Light Clay, we're not going to be using a Light Clay during this playthrough probably, but hey, we came here, we picked it up. The level 28 Zubat. It's not really worth fighting, but I don't really want to switch too much. And that Poison Fang hurts. No time. Oh, you bastard. It gave me the toxic. Yeah, because the background is just like flat water, we stand on it instead of throwing Pokemon from our Bibarel mount. I mean, that would be a nice thing for them to put in as a nice little touch, but that has, to be fair, been kind of the norm throughout the entire series. So we're gonna stick Empoleon. No, we're gonna stick Empoleon at the front for now, because Empoleon is probably our most useful Pokemon in Mount Coronet overall, and for that matter, especially on the water and just for the purposes of muscling. Yeah, so that That with us standing on the water is quote-unquote working as intended. That one's not a glitch, although that would be a thing that if they, you know, redid that, that'd be cool. I'd like that. And let's surf this Metatite into oblivion. I could probably have just ran away from this thing. Also, I don't think I've ever noticed in any previous playthrough the way Empoleon's, like, tail looks, that it kind of looks like it's like a shark dorsal fin. That's pretty great. Kind of like a submarine sort of looking thing. Unfortunately, they gave the Remoraid torpedoes to Mantine. I almost said they gave the Mantine torpedoes to Remoraid, which is the other way around. Let's put Houndoom up at the front, because we are out in the ice fields. And I said that we would check out the underground. I will do that in a moment. I want to see if I can piece together where the old healing house is. They got peanut butter and much. Yeah, so here we go. We got another Metatite hanging out here, because whoever chose the Pokemon for this region forgot that ice types exist, I guess. I mean, come on, if they're bringing back a bunch of, like, weird half-remembered Pokemon for some of this, I feel like Sinnoh has some interestingly deep cuts in its Pokedex. So in that case, why not give us, like, you know, Dugong, right? But here we go. Here's what I was looking for. I was looking for a place to rest. Get us some healing. Step back outside. And we're going to do a little bit of underground. After I mark those off, our TM12 and our TM69. We're gonna hit the stick in the wrong direction, I guess. We're playing around alone again for now. Maybe I'll do online stuff with the underground later on. I have a little more of a bonus stream. Pick up a charge from our Diglett. We're probably not going to get 40 points, but hey. That bed must be filthy. Well, I mean, they got a sign up that says, hey, you can stay here if you want, but you are 100% correct. That cannot be the most sanitary solution out there. Reminds me, I need to change the sheets on my bed pretty soon. Oop. Oh, that's just a prism sphere. But those are pretty rare, at least pre-post game. Phrase that makes me feel real silly to say. Yeah, I didn't even find that item at all. I'm pretty sure it was in the gray pile there. Well, alright, so we're gonna make our way towards that big room because... No, I just haven't changed the sheets in a while, that's all. Come on, man. Let's see what we've got in here. There's some good stuff in here. We got leftovers. This one... Also... can we not surf on that water? I guess we can't. Maybe it's too cold. Yikes! And we're getting back attacked by a Bronzor. I've got a Bronzor in a box, so this isn't a big deal of a Pokemon to really worry about. Level 43, though, that would be pretty good. That would be pretty close to getting Bronzong if we were just going to be like, hey, yeah, I know for a fact I'm going to use that thing, but unfortunately, I'm a little torn at the moment. So it's going to hit us with a Heavy Slam that is comically useless coming off of Bronzor before evolution. If it was Bronzedong, I mean, that thing weighs a ton. But Bronzor, meh. At that point, just use Gyro Ball. Didn't have Heat Proof. Is there any sort of tell, or is it just, like, the amount of damage? Because Heat Proof does not produce any sort of messages, as far as I know. Also, hey, look, a Baniri. Pokemon we love mocking. Let's throw a quick ball at it and see if we can get a quick catch here. It may not happen, because Pokemon in the underground can be very hard to capture. But hey, there we go. We got Baniri in our Pokedex. Heatproof is just that the damage is cut in half, not... You're thinking of a different one, sir. Yeah, Heatproof halves the damage done by Fire-type attacks and burn, which is interesting. I didn't know that it cut burn damage in half. I knew that it was half damage from fire attacks. Yeah, you're thinking of, like, Flash Fire? Or is there another ability like that? I don't think there is. I think it's just Flash Fire. Yeah, we got another... We got just a lot of Baniris and Bronzors in here. So this room is not giving us a ton of experience, and it's not really giving us a ton of interesting captures either. I believe this area, like this type of room, has access to some nicer ice types. Yeah, I still haven't put my sounders back on because I'm using... I switched over to Stream Elements and I haven't fixed everything just yet because... and all that. Lyris knows what I'm talking about. That's what I was thinking of is in here. TM80, Rockslide. That is a nice, nice get. Rockslide and Leftovers in one room. Hell yeah. What a combination. Oh, that's the wrong button. Sort by number. Just because I want to unmark it, because if I see that, it'll bother me for a while. Yeah, Dawnstone. We can't really use this for much of anything. I mean, I guess if we find the right Pokemon, Dawnstone is a good thing to have. But for now, we want to give Leftovers. We're giving them to Houndoom. No, 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 no. I haven't nicknamed any Pokemon in this run. Maybe in future. Although I'm thinking that if I do more runs of this, if they are... I hate the Pokemon from Zinc. If I do future, like, challenge runs of this, if indeed GWS is Wonder Trades, and that's a thing that comes back, then I'll probably be doing basically runs based on what do I get out of Wonder Trade, because that sounds like the path to some hot garbage. It also sounds like I'll end up in a position where none of my Pokemon are listening to me for like 4 gyms. So that'll be a disaster in a particularly funny way, I'm sure. Aww. I hit the support beam. I think this is just going to be orbs. Good for pondering. Unfortunately, not much else. Here's a statue box that we're not going to get. Oh well. Yeah, exactly. It's just a 6 Bidoof run. Although, I mean, depending on... I've gotten some okay stuff out of Wonder Trade, and I'm not just talking about when you get them at champs.com, right? when that comes up, the blatant hacks. Actually, I got a much funnier blatant hack shiny once. I don't think I've told the people in this group about it, but I was sent once in a Wonder Trade a level 100 shiny Garbodor with all zeros for its IVs. Oh shit, that's a Munchlax. And a burn heal attached to it with the name Banned in all capital letters. And I just busted out laughing from that. That was like... That's one of the best things that I've gotten in any of these, just because that is actively hilarious. Oh, shit. Well, you know what, Munchlax? I only want you for the Pokedex, okay? Otherwise, you're just, you know, a space filler. I mean, Lears, you make that reference, but I assume that actually up to a point, up to a point, like, oh god damn it, you made me forget what I was gonna say. Oh no. I only won for his 1% and he fell for it like a sucker, yep. Anyway, Munchlax, I don't know why this Pokemon exists. I assume someone was just like, yeah, we just need some random junk to fill out the retinue here, and yeah. It beat him so hard he mentally best things and got amnesia. Oh boy. That sounds like one from The Simpsons or something. Is that, or is that one that I forgot from Brian doing Pokemon? I should watch that again. So, this Munchlax is probably going to be hard to catch, but we're going to take a shot at it anyway. Just because Munchlax is, like, rare. Well, then again, there is no concept of rarity anymore because of how much you can goof off with these games, but... You know, it feels like the right thing to do to actually catch the damn thing. But also, I don't 100% know why this is even a Pokemon. I mean, okay, sure, Snorlax, but... Just have regular Snorlax, man. I like regular Snorlax well enough. It doesn't need a little cute baby form. That's just silly. This dude, we're not going to be able to afford trade anything. Well, we can sit here and just rest standing in front of this dude. When do we get X-Lax? Well, smooth move, X-Lax. Wait, no, that's a different reference. That's a Space Quest reference, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything over there. What am I doing that for? I should be spending what little durability I have trying to not hit the damn support beams so much. Eh, well. Go right for the support pillar. Yeah, that's it. That's just how things shake out with me anyway to begin with, so... Clearly I just get the support beam and just whack that thing away and see how much faster it removes my durability. I think it does. But I could be wrong about that. Alright, there's a Machop. I saw a Shinx over there. We don't really need to worry about Shinx. We definitely don't need to worry about Machop. Oh, hey, a Dawnstone. That would be useful if we find the right Pokemon in here, but I think the game is going to tell us to take a hike. There's a Pachirisu. There's a Meditite. I almost said a Medicham. That is not correct. Alright, Machoke, we can, we can Machoke the old, oh, that's certainly a joke. We should be able to burn this thing to nothing in a hit or two. And there it goes, using strength on us. Ooh, don't know my own strength. Because I'm pretty sure that Machoke still learns strength by level up. Probably Machop as well. Definitely Machamp. There was a period where it was one of the only things that got strength because it was reduced to just being a TM. In fact, it might not even have been a TM in Gen 7. Alright, let's deal with this squirrel. I don't think we caught a Pachirisu during this playthrough, but you know, if not, this thing is right here, so that's pretty much a free quick ball. No, we got one of these. Okay, well, let's chew on it a little bit. And yes, I still have Tackle because Luxray's move pool is not amazing. Super Fang, huh? Man, I love Super Fang. Clearly, I should actually use Pachirisu then. Just fucking Super Fang all my problems if necessary. Just lead things off. Chomp, there goes half your health. And Luxray is now our highest level Pokemon. I'm a little surprised by that, but okay. Yeah, I don't know what else learned Super Fang offhand, so there might be something that is a little bit more fun than Pachirisu, but I mean, Pachirisu saw some funny business in a couple of events, so it's not completely useless. I mean, I probably would not ordinarily be like, Pachirisu, gotta get that motherfucker on the team, but on the other hand, my electric type options are not terribly good unless I find a Magnemite, which would require me to go back to the other half of the region. And I mean, why not? Okay, so we get the red sphere. I don't think we've ever seen any of the stone boxes in this. They contain statues of Pokemon, which is a mechanic that I have yet to really explore. But once you're able to build a secret base and you can put up some statue pedestals in it, you can put the statues on there and it can influence what types of Pokemon you see more of in the underground. However, I haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't messed around with it any. Yeah, Elekid is another very good option. I am a longtime fan of the Electabuzz. So I wouldn't mind having one of those to use in my party. Oh boy, look at all these spheres that we're getting. It's gonna be able to sit here and ponder my orb for hours, man. Oh, is there another item in here? Can it hopefully be something good? No, this is another sphere. Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not expecting, like, tons of fossils or anything at this point. Because fossils are more of a post-game thing, but still, let me tell you, if I ran into, like, either of the fossils that I can get in this game, which I'm pretty sure it's only the Gen 1 and Gen 4 fossils that are available from digging. I mean, Bastiodon could be fun. Amistar, well, Amistar doesn't have a whole lot of place in this team, I don't think, because I have a good water type already. But boy, howdy, let me tell you, if I could find an old Amber, but I think that might be post-game only, but if I could find an old Amber, Rhyhorn would be getting benched so fast. So fast, I tell you. I tells ya. It wouldn't know what hit it. Because Aerodactyl has just always been one of my longtime favorite Pokemons. Oh, and look at that nice rusted copper Mamoswine statue. Yeah, so, I mean, clearly I'm not expecting to get the Cranidos fossil in this game because that... Shieldon is the one that is exclusive for Diamond, I believe. Or it might be the other way around. Either way, the Helix Fossil is my Gen 1 fossil from the pair. Oh, we're finding... Speak of the undead, and they will come to you. I think that's actually the... That's actually the head fossil. Other way around. Yeah, I don't remember, so... I admit that I'm literally just saying what I think, because I've only seen in Shining Pearl a single Gen 4 fossil crop up. And that I didn't get. Ooh, a head fossil, yes. Well, unfortunately, we don't have a fly point up north yet, so I would not be going back to resuscitate that just yet. At least not on stream. If I did that off stream, that'd be a little different. Unfortunately, I have a terrible track record when it comes to actually remembering to do things off camera, so... This goes full reckless because I know there's only 2 items here. But yeah, Skull Fossil. Cranidos... Cranidos is okay. Cranidos and Rampardos are ridiculously well-tuned glass cannons, but they don't have speed. So I basically would have to be throwing them in somewhere where I know they can go first, which is not going to be a ton of places. But if they do, and they can land a physical hit on the target, that thing is not going to stand up for very long, especially if said physical attack... Oh, get a load of this. Get a load of this. Oh, right. That's not done yet. Yeah, so if, you know, if it could land like any physical hit, whatever is in its way is freaking dead. But on the other hand, you got to actually be able to land that hit because it has no defense to speak of. And its speed is laughable. Its speed is Laugh-Olympics. And for that matter, yeah, Trick Room. That would be the option, would be to basically be playing a Trick Room-based team. Or, I suppose that I could probably edge some more things out by using a Choice Scarf. But Choice Scarf, I believe, is locked to the post-game. Like, I don't think you can go to the place where you can get them until then. But look, Swablu. This thing is cute. Yeah, the Gen 3 fossils are a little better, in my opinion. Cradily is, like, a really well-tuned tank, if used correctly. Which is weird, because it's grass rock. You'd think, oh wow, that thing must be a POS. No, it actually covers for itself pretty well. Hey! I'm doing the Nixon pose right here for some reason. You guys can't see that, because I don't have a webcam. And the way I've been, like, whipping back and forth between multiple screens, I don't think you'd want that, because you just see the side of my head half the time. Ho-ho! Yes! This is a banner day in this particular household. As we get Rhyhorn up to Rhydon. How do I record my videos? I just use a camcorder. And I, cut that stuff up with... I don't know if I could use it as a webcam. And I mean, I guess I have a phone with a camera, so I don't know. Hammer Arm is a good move for Rhydon because Rhydon is already slower than hell anyway. I can get rid of Stomp for that. Not as good as Arm & Hammer. You've got a point there. Oh, God. Somebody just posted something real stupid at me on Twitter. Sorry. Twitter. On Discord. You know what? I'll drop the link in here too because it's pretty funny for anyone who has suffered with that game as I have, which is not near as much as some people, but oh boy, let me tell you, Omicron the Nomad Soul is a hot mess. I tried streaming it one time and I had to get a whole ass other piece of software to make it work with OBS Studio. Which is pretty much buck wild, as they say. I don't know who they are, but they certainly say it. So let's get a look at some TMs. We're not going to be able to afford these, but you can see that this is how TMs are renewable and how you can get a lot more of them. Is by grinding in the underground. And looking at those numbers, we mean grinding. Oh boy. That's the one thing that I will say that is a little dissatisfying about this, because those numbers... Jesus. You gotta be in here for a while. On the other hand, it definitely seems like the sparks refresh much faster than they did in the original. So you can find places to dig in much more plentifully. I think we can get a free Dragon Pulse TM later on through digging out Victory Road. I forget if it's Victory Road, but I know that there is a Dragon Pulse TM somewhere in the world. So we don't have to worry too much about the fact that we can't buy that right now. Yeah, that is a downside, is that there's just one track for this location. And having a little bit more of a variable mix type of thing would be a little cool. But that, to be fair, is like kind of rare for Pokemon games. I mean, yes, you do have a lot of instances of multiple tracks per location. Hi, Munchlax. I don't give a shit about you anymore. I mean, if it's very low level, I might quick ball it and see if we can get another leftovers. But I'm not going to try to catch this Munchlax. It's 41. Let's see if we can't poach ourselves another 5% leftovers. It's not amused by our shit, so I think it's going to get torched. Or, since it's going to use Amnesia, we're going to go for physical damage. Yeah, I just probably tried to curve past it, and it was a little too tight. Oh well. It is/was a chance for a second leftovers. I mean, that's definitely going to end up being was, because that's not enough for me to feel comfortable throwing a Dusk Ball. And I'm not going to go too hard on this. Yeah. It rolled Zen Headbutt. I suppose that's better than it rolling Misty Explosion. That would probably hurt. Or even regular Explosion. Actually, regular Explosion would fuck me right up. Mist Explosion would do neutral damage because Houndoom takes neutral damage from Fairy-type moves. No, it's just using Zen Headbutt, which unfortunately I have Houndoom at the front of the party, so that's not going to do any good for it. We found a sharp beak. See, that's potentially pretty alright for Crobat, because I have not been using a lot of Cross Poison. So I'm going to actually strap that onto the stick going a little apeshit there. Let's give that to Crobat. Yep. And yeah, our Skull Fossils. So I don't remember what TM Drain Punch is. I want to take a look at that again. TM 60. Yeah, unfortunately, no Drain Punch for Rhydon. Let me tell you, I would love to have Drain Punch on Rhydon. That would hit so hard. Against so many things. It would heal fully, like, every time because of the amount of damage it would do. Or at least it would deal a large percentage of it, so... Oh well. What can you do? Let's see if we can't find ourselves some nice items down here. Or we can find more orbs to ponder. Pondering the orb. That's a meme that exists. Sure does. That's a Thunderstone we're not getting. Which is unfortunate, but... we don't have a Thunderstone evolving Pokemon. And I know that there's a way to get Eevee in this game. And there's a way to get Pikachu, but that's all that I know of offhand that is, like, really easily obtainable that uses a Thunderstone. And depending on how much we goof around in the underground throughout the rest of our playthrough, there's a pretty fair chance that we still have a good chance of, you know, getting more stones. Over on my main cartridge, which is the other one, I've had such a good turnout with a lot of those stones. I'm pretty much swimming in leaf stones over on Shining Pearl, which I really don't need that many leaf stones, man. Let's take a look in one more room. Bing! There we go. Ooh, hey, it's another skull fossil. I mean, it's not useful to have 3 skull fossils, but why not? I'll take it. Makes up for all the time that I got shafted on the fossil drops in, you know, the other cartridge. The fact that I've only gotten the 2 dome fossils and... Wait, did I get both dome fossils? Or was it that... No, I saw 2 dome fossils and I only got 1 of them. Ah, trees. There's a tree. Alright, well. Let's, that Bronzor is not going to be worth a ton of experience, probably. Oh, that's decent, actually. But we got, like, the vast majority of what we want out of this place in terms of leveling, because we have Rhyhorn evolved into Rhydon. You know what? There's another room, like, right over there. I'm going to try that out, because I've been disappointed by this one. It's just Bronzors. Meh. Wonder and see if there's Sudowoodo. Oh, Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo is a fantastic Pokemon. Sure, we'll pick up another statue. I mean, we're not in a position where we're really dealing with that mechanic too much, but okay. If it's there, it's there. Another large orb. Ah, there's a fourth item. Okay. I forgot how many were... Oh, it's just a small orb. Well... I assume that's trees, although could be chainsaws. Ooh, Rhyperior statue, and you can see the hole in its hand. That's a little creepy. Alright, so here's the more generic type of cave, the spacious cave. This... You can have a variety of Pokemon. We got a Budew, we got one of those, we got a lot of Bidoofs. I think I've seen Magnemite spawn in this cave type. Which again, as I said before, Magnemite would be super good. But no such luck. And again, I was like, oh, I'm only doing a few more, and then I just kept going. Oh. Yeah, this dude has the same traits as the other one. Not so big a deal. Alright, we got another spacious cave here. Ooh, hello, Murkrow. Even if Murkrow is not, like, a super good Pokemon, I mean, it's alright. Banned from a Little Cup. And, you know, even if Honchkrow is not, like, the king of the roost or anything, I just really like Murkrow. So, yoink? Question mark? Not so much. So I need to be careful to not completely murder ball this thing, but we might be hitting it pretty hard with this. Yeah, that just one-shot it. Oops. I should clearly have just used Peck. Oh well. Is what it is. I'm pretty sure that you can find Murkrow at the old chateau or something in Diamond. They're in a place. Yeah, that's a really useful thing to say, isn't it? But this is what we were really looking for around here is Magnemite. So, let's see if we can... Ice Beam should probably be an okay amount of damage there. Yeah, it's not, like, hard to find Murkrow. I just really like him, that's all. I just don't remember where you find him either. I think it's Old Chateau or in that part of Eterna Forest, but don't remember for sure. And so out of this, so far we've seen Magnet Rise, Flash Cannon, which, you know, Flash Cannon just means we don't have to teach it that ourselves. If it has T-Bolt, that means that we don't have to feed it like any TMs, which would make me real happy. I don't want to chance one more peck because we might end up killing it. So I'm just going to throw the Dust Ball, and we're going to hope that this does the trick because of how chiseled down it is. Yay! We caught Magnemite. Do I want to give it a nickname? Nah, I'm not doing that this run through. Alright, well... Luxray, get out of here. Because Luxray's move pool is leaving a little bit to be desired. And Magnemite does have a better typing. Let's take a look at these moves. Actually, let's take a look at this nature. Special attack up, special defense down. Could be better, but alright. Magnet Rise, Flash Cannon, Discharge... I mean, Discharge is like Budget Lightning Bolt. That's pretty okay. Metal Sound, however. Ugh. Can we feed it something real quick other than Thunderbolt to give it a better special attack move? I mean, I guess we can teach it Volt Switch for shenanigans, but meh. I don't think I have Heart Scales right now, so I can't really go and take it back to the Relearner in order to get Thunder Wave, however, is a bit of a shame. But I think we'll probably be okay to work with this thing for a while. But let's just double check through here. Yeah, it's nothing more to teach it, but that's okay. Before I boot Scoot and Boogie, do we have any items here? No, we do not. Alright. So, now we put Houndoom at the front of the party. And we return from the underground. And we're going to heal. Sleep in the slightly funky bed. Slightly. And we're going to head on back towards Mount Coronet for something very important. Find out what one Pokemon this dude has. It's a Sneasel. Yeah, you're going to find that most of these ice trainers have just got those. Alright, well, to be fair, this is probably going to be the last part of anything we're doing today, is go back to Mount Coronet and evolve Magnemite all the way, so you won't miss much. You get some rest. Swap out against Golduck because we don't have a ton we can do against Golduck. I mean, we can probably put a dent in it with Beat Up, but that's not going to be our move of choice. Plus, it hit us pretty hard. Or do we get a Pokemon game where you just steal their Pokemon? I mean, in Colosseum, you can steal very specific Pokemon. But I mean, to be fair, where is the Team Rocket version, right? Actually, Team Rocket version sounds like something that would be potentially really interesting. Like, you have to do, like, a reputation management thing where you have to make sure that you can actually go places without getting arrested for beating up too many people and stealing their Pokemon. And you might be saying, that sounds like a really questionable thing to put into a Pokemon game. Well, they are branching out into different genres just in general lately, so... I mean, you're not wrong, but also... I was gonna say, I don't think we're gonna outspeed this Ponyta, but we actually managed to, and... this one quick surf gets rid of it. And oh, hey, look, it's Sudowoodo. We were just talking about Sudowoodo. Because it's real silly. Whoosh. And it's gone. Or is it that sturdy? Nope. Hey, Carnivine got to level 40. Finally, everyone's there. Carnivine levels up slow as hell. I don't know why. Ambipom. This thing looks really silly because of its horrible swollen hand tail. Abra, we can deal with that. Slow. I thought it had a weird one for a bit. Alright. Yep, that Kadabra got thrashed. Turned into giblets. Alright, so we duck in here. And what we do is very, very simple. First we find the items. Then, it's very, very simple. We're actually going to use our rare candies. Going to feed Magnemite one rare candy. And it's going to level to level 41. And then it's going to evolve. Into one of my favorite Pokemon to use, probably one I use in like every casual playthrough nowadays, except for the one that I just did of Shining Pearl, Magneton. Wants to learn the move Tri Attack. Oh baby, let's go for it. Tri Attack's pretty great. Get the fuck out of here, Metal Sound. And since this time we're not playing a Gen 1 Pokemon game, Tri Attack has that 6 2/3% chance to freeze, paralyze, or burn. Ah, Tri Attack is fun. Anyway, we're gonna feed Magneton another rare candy. And it's gonna evolve again because we're inside of Mount Coronet, where apparently there's some sort of magnetic field going on. Magneton evolved into Magnezone. Oh yeah. And Magnezone is pretty great. I mean, Magneton was already really good. Magneton is known for being one of the best Pokemon to be able to use the Eviolite item next to Chansey, because it has really good defensive stats and it was already geared to be a fully evolved Pokemon. Magnezone is just a damage-dealing beast. I mean, at this level, I've seen better, but, you know, this is pretty much a fresh catch that's just been leveled up twice, but, you know, sooner rather than later, this thing is going to be one of the stronger members of our team. And we've got a pretty good attack set going for the time being. And our team is looking pretty sharp. Look, Carnivine could stand to be a higher level. You know what? Let's feed Carnivine that other rare candy. Because that should get a crunch, right? Carnivine wants to learn Crunch. Let's go for it. Fight, get out of here. I barely used that. Yay! 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 Hey, 13 hours in. Not bad. Especially compared to my other playthrough.